Hey Laura, thanks so much for talking to me. I remember being in Bonn and you were telling me how you came to IBC Bonn and how I got excited listening to you. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, IBC Bonn was kind of like the answer to my prayers. I had been wanting to learn a new language, and I thought German was a good option. And so I didn't know where to go. I had a previous experience of being an exchange student, and I didn't really have a Christian family, and that really made it difficult for me to connect with the community during that year, and it was really sad and hard for me to be in Belgium during that time. So the next time I was leaving for another country, I thought to myself, I have to go to a place where I know I'm going to find community, to be in connection with the body of Christ. And so I went to my pastor back home. I come from IBC Costa Rica, and I approached Pastor Paul Dreesen, and I asked him if he knew of any IBC churches in Europe that I could visit or go to, especially in Germany. And then he said that there were, in fact, IBC churches in Germany, and I was very excited to hear that. And so he connected with some pastors, asking if there were any families that would be willing to host me. And I was starting to get anxious because I wasn't really getting any replies. And then about a month before leaving, because I was going to come anyway, Monique and Eddie Yikong say they were going to be glad to have me at their home. So I just knew that wherever I went, if there was an IBC community, I knew that I was gonna be home. And that's exactly how I felt the first time I stepped through the doors of IBC Cologne, because back then IBC Bonn wasn't really founded yet. But it was just, it got me so emotional, because even the first weekend, the songs that the worship team played were songs that were sung at IBC Costa Rica, and I was overwhelmed with emotion, just feeling like no matter where you go, there's always going to be family. Because we're all, even if we're culturally different, we are connected by Jesus. And so that's kind of how I landed in IBC Bonn, and it's very exciting. It has been so amazing to see the process of founding a church and how the body of Christ comes together. So, yeah.
So what are some of the things that you've seen in Bonn that you appreciated about your church back in Costa Rica?
It's just the friendliness. I have visited other churches that are maybe bigger or, just bigger and more popular, I guess, but you don't have that sense of unism or unity, of people who are completely different coming together and acting as one, and just being welcomed by total strangers who approach you. And the first day, there's you never feel alone as a first comer. Even if it's your first day, there's always going to be somebody who approaches you. And I think it's that being home away from home, and always trying to reach out to the community around us, which I think is really, really representation of Jesus' love for humanity. Is just taking a person as they are and trying to see past cultural differences, because in an international church, that's one of the biggest obstacles. It could be one of the biggest obstacles, and yet I think, from my experience in IBC churches, it has become a gift from God that actually enriches the body of experiencing grace and understanding, and I really like that.
That's awesome. I'm really glad that you found that in Costa Rica and again here in Germany. You said to me you're a big IBC fan.
Yes.
And so is there anything else you would tell someone? You need to go to an IBC church because...
Oh yeah, when I'm a little outspoken and really extroverted, so sometimes when I've been downtown in Bonn, I love to go to Starbucks, and I sit there for hours and just trying to meet a stranger. And I usually like to speak to people who I think are not local, because we all have this feeling of missing our home and feeling like we don't belong sometimes. And I have met sometimes people who miss their home or are homesick, and I tell them, you know what, I've got exactly the place for you, because even if you're not a Christian and you come to IBC, you will experience that love that will show you what Jesus is like. And so I always tell people, if you don't speak the language, if you don't speak German, if you don't speak Spanish, come to IBC and you'll see that there's always a place for you there. So I definitely have spoken to strangers and said, if you don't speak German and want to meet some people that maybe speak other languages, come to IBC and you'll make friends, and hopefully a friendship will then lead to salvation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Yeah. I have no words to describe how thankful I am for coming to IBC. That's not what my parents went to church originally. They go to another church, Spanish-speaking church in Costa Rica, and some American friends invited us to join IBC, and then I've been an IBC, I don't know, graduate since I was 11 years old, and it has definitely led me in my walk of faith.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for asking me.
Yeah.